all for calling your mom on Mother's Day, but you need to make sure you're calling your mom. Call your not once a year. Call your mother. Hello and welcome back to Morning Coffee. This is episode 11. We're so happy you are back with us.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I don't know if you had... I just didn't know if you had, like, something else to say, so I figured I'd, like, let you chime in, but it's cool.
Hey, how's it going? What's up?
Oh, man. I wonder if, like, so usually... If in other occasions, if we have like long pauses, like if we lose internet or something like that, that's the only thing that I truly like edit out. If I edit anything out, because back to the beginning, like we try not to. But I'm gonna leave this one on purpose. I wonder if some like whoever's listening to it is gonna think that like we broke out or like something happened to their internet or something like that.
Nope, sorry, my brain just stopped working for a few seconds.
That's fine.
I literally forgot all the words I could think of. I'm like, wait.
How do I greet them?
Yeah. Hello.
Well, again, welcome back, and we hope you enjoyed that 10th episode special, and that you got to know us a little bit more.
Yeah, and let us know if that's the sort of style you like. Or if you prefer what we're doing like now with doing the 3 topics, maybe we can do a mix of both and get a little bit more personal, I guess, in them.
Yes, for our like number 1 fans who have been loyal since day 1. And if you're just jumping on board, hey, no hate, like we welcome you. I was gonna say something else. Oh, again, keep showing us some love. We're always available on Instagram. If you have any cool ideas or any, like, different ways that you want us to interact with you guys, like, let us know, too. We recently did a trivia, which was so much fun. I don't know if this was fun for other people, but this was so much fun to just see the results. Some of you guys, honestly, I'm very proud. Like, you can tell, either you already knew this, or maybe you would skim through our podcast or something. But a lot of you guys did very well. Some of you guys maybe just guessed.
And I gave part of some of the facts.
But yeah, that was really cool. So if you like that and you want more of that, like, let us know too. But again, we're here. We're still, again, trying new things, and we're having fun with it more than anything. Right, Carolina? I mean, I tell David this all the time. Like, in the end, no matter who listens to it or not, if literally this is just lost in space, I'm having a good time and I'm learning. Even though sometimes I procrastinate, but I'm learning.
To be honest, this is like a selfish thing I feel like for us, we're like, this is for me.
Yep. So. But it's all good. All right, so let's dive into today's episode. Our first topic is national parks. So I literally, when I started looking this up, I had to Google, like, what is a national park? And I figured that was a good way to start, right? Because, like, what is it? So, for a place to be considered for a designation as a national park, so for it actually to be considered a national park, it actually has to meet a criteria. So the first one is that it has to possess like a unique natural, cultural, or like recreational resource. The second one is it must be in need of protection, and no organization other than the National Park Service would be able to secure adequate protection for it. And the third thing would be it must be able to be protected. So like suitable and feasible to protect the area and all of that. So I actually found that very interesting because, again, like I feel like the national parks that like I do know of, it just seemed like, I don't know, made sense for it to be there. Yeah. But it does. It has like a set of criteria to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, know like all the national parks because there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you once you hear the criteria, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, obviously that's a national park. There's like no other decision besides for it to be a national park.
Right.
Yeah. But I guess we could just take it back to the beginning of kind of the foundation of national parks.
Yeah.
So, kind of in 1864, Abraham Lincoln kind of responded to pressure that was like being brought to people about the Yosemite Grant Act to protect the land in Yosemite Valley.
Okay.
So the Yosemite Act set a precedent for the creation of national parks. So it's kind of like the beginning of everything that kind of set the like things in motion for national parks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time the U.S. federal government had set aside land specifically for preservation and public use.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then with the Act of March 1st of 1872,
Mm-hmm.
Congress established Yellowstone National Park in the territories of Montana and Wyoming.
Nice. Okay,
So,
yeah, that's what I
was
have
it
on here too.
Almost 10 years? 8 years? My math is wrong.
6?
64, 72, yeah, 8.
Isn't it 64? Isn't that 8? No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah.
Math
Yep.
is not my thing.
You know, it used to be mine, but I think I lost my touch. That's what happens when you don't practice.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying something.
Oh, no. And then kind of the big one that we kind of know of is on August 25th, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson signed the act creating the National Park Service, which is a new federal bureau in the Department of the Interior responsible for protecting the 35 national parks and monuments that they then managed. That was managed by a different department, and so everything that was established.
Okay, gotcha.
So it took a good while before, about 40 years.
Oh,
Again,
man.
math, I don't know.
Something like that. Now, and I don't know if I'll be skipping here because, you know, some history and whatnot. But I also got some, well, speaking of math, I got some numbers here, some interesting facts and stuff. So, quick disclaimer, I didn't realize this was happening. For those of you who don't know, Carolina and I actually record in our closets because our clothes actually, like, muffle, like, outside echoing and noise and stuff. But my closet actually happens to be right next to my, like, our office, like, our home office. I didn't realize that David was going to be using, like, a drill. So if this happens to, I mean, I can't say anything now, but, like, if you do hear it, I do apologize. I try very hard to make sure there's no, like, really loud, like, outside noise. But if you hear that, that's what it is. I'm going to try to talk really loud so that, you know, you can't hear it. But anyway, sorry. That was a quick disclaimer. Anyway, so I got some cool numbers. Some big numbers actually here. 3 parks had, and this was in 2019, so 3 parks had more than 10 million recreation visits. This is a Golden Gate National Recreation Area, the Blue Ridge Parkway, and Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So that's a lot.
Yeah. And I actually have, like, the top 10 most visited national parks in 2019.
Okay.
And so that list I have, number 1 is the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
How much does it say?
They had 12.5 million visits.
In 2019?
Yeah.
So that's crazy because for the first one on the site that I'm looking at, the first one they have is, so they do have 12.5 million for the Great Smoky Mountains, but they actually have as number 1 the Golden Gate National Recreation Area has 15 million.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's because this was like a park instead of like like a mountain. Yeah,
right.
Instead of like just an area.
Oh,
so
you're right.
That's gonna make a difference.
You're right. Actually, that's just that's a good point. Let me see. So 50% of total recreation visits occurred in 27 parks, 7% of all parks in the national park system. So, I guess we have lots of parks. I hope that doesn't sound like a dumb question, but I mean, I guess we do, right? Because
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't find an actual number because I looked at it a while back and I saw like 77, but then it was like if you count parks just like within the continental U.S. and then if you like everything like technically like all the territories and stuff, and if you're talking about national parks in the entirety of the world, because technically there's still national parks even though they're not like under like U.S. protection.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, like it goes pretty in depth. I mean, I have a goal to one day visit all national parks in the U.S., but that's a very like far out goal.
Hey, it's possible.
Yeah, but speaking about numbers, so the National Park Service estimates that the sites, like the parks and like areas, contribute about $35 million a year to the U.S. economy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
People. Well, I guess I would say so. I guess people are very into traveling and making sure that they know all about. Well, then it makes you wonder, are they really into the whole cultural and history side of it, or is it all about the view? Which, I guess even if it is, can you blame them, right?
Well, yeah, and then I feel, like, I also read that now that, like, Instagram and Facebook are such, like, big deals, and there's even the people that travel, like, for money-wise and stuff. Like, getting that picture-perfect, like, picture of the scenery and stuff, that's actually creating problems for the national parks because people are going and they can't keep up with the traffic, and then people aren't scared to interact with the animals, which is a huge issue. And so you also get like people getting injured in parks and stuff. Because honestly, I'm just gonna say it, you're being dumb if you want to interact with an animal like a bison. Obviously they're gonna come after you. It's a huge animal. But and then there's a lot of people that like don't respect,
I think,
and they like dump trash and stuff, so it's
or they cross boundaries, or they go into restricted areas, maybe not knowing that maybe something could be like a certain plant or a certain area is well taken care of. You're not supposed to cross boundaries, and they do, because like you said, they want that really nice picture to be able to post it. Kind of like when they say do it for the gram. That's the thing, right? Okay. So, so I guess that makes sense, you know. And I think I've read a lot of, well, I haven't read, I mean, like, I've seen a lot of headlines about how even in, like, foreign places, and we're kind of going off on a tangent, but even in, like, foreign, like, places, they talk about how they're not big fans of, like, tourists, you know, even though there are very touristic places, how it does, like you said, cause problems. Again, maybe not necessarily like we're talking about, like, you know, national parks and all that, but even like their, you know, their areas and just very significant landmarks of theirs, you know, especially if you're not part of the culture, like you're just going in there. Sometimes maybe you don't realize it. Maybe it's not an intentional thing. Maybe it's not like, oh, okay, you're being dumb about it. But, you know, you take pictures of things that maybe you're not supposed to, or, you know, and that kind
there's
of
that, like that sort of, it's not going to say ignorance, but like you just don't know,
right? And in a sense, it kind of is. And I remember when I was going to study abroad, we had to take a class where that's basically, well, I guess I did study abroad, but it was in Mexico. But, I mean, a lot of people do study abroad elsewhere, and you have to take this course where they talk about it. Like, it's so important to at least have some, you know, like, some idea of the culture that you're about to go visit, because you're going to do things that could potentially, like, truly offend other people if you go in with it, you know, with that ignorance, and not in a bad way, but just literally like, hey, I it's understandable that you don't know, but because you don't know, that could create a really big problem.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Hawaii, where like and this is just what I've read. I'm not an expert at this at all. It's just like kind of passing articles, but like I've read that there's been a lot of what is it? There's a rise in homelessness because the native people that live there, they can't kind of keep up with the touristic prices and everything. Because you kind of know, like when you go to tourist area, like everything's super expensive. and like those islands are full of tourists, and so they had to keep up, and like a lot of people can't, and so it's really sad because they kind of have to accommodate because tourism is such a great part of their economy.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about the people that live there and stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, ugh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
I didn't think national parks would get so sad.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, but it brings a lot of things into perspective, right? Because, you know, I don't know, I guess when you think of it this is what I'm saying, like, there are people who go with the aspiration of, like, I want to learn, or maybe some people, like, have studied about it, or, you know, and so they want the history that they know, or that they think is amazing, and then to physically be there and see it brings a bigger significance, right? Because you're seeing it before your very eyes, something that was like in a textbook or whatever. But then you have the other side of, like, travelers who go in with probably little knowledge, and to them it's just like, oh, I saw this picture, or I heard that it was beautiful, so I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's I guess important to acknowledge, if you're listening, like, what kind of traveler are you? And even if you mean no harm, like, if you are the person who's only there, like even photographers, like, be I don't want to say well educated, but, like, be a photographer.
At least be respectful.
There you go.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, it's nature, and it's kind of like nature has its own mind and stuff, and as humans, we don't like have a full understanding of how nature interacts with us as much as we like to, and so it's just like you have to be respectful of everything that's like surrounding you, especially going somewhere that's protected and needs to be protected, like you said, and that's why it's a national park,
right?
So, like, treat the earth with respect.
Yep, it does
a
lot.
Get so deep. I love the earth.
It does a lot for us. It really does. So I mean, it's did you have any other fun facts or anything else on that?
I don't think so. I think I just got so into talking about, you know, respecting Earth. But speaking about respecting,
there you go.
got my intro. Let's talk about our next topic, which is Mother's Day, which just passed for us.
Yes. So we're a couple weeks late on it, but it still matters, right? Because it's still something that is reoccurring and that we still do celebrate. So we'll go way back to the history of Mother's Day, where it came about. Interestingly enough, it actually had, I don't know, maybe, like, I guess, is it corny to say, like, a greater purpose? Or, like, its intention wasn't what it necessarily... Yeah, exactly. So it definitely has been I guess, commercialized is a fair word to say, right? I mean, it has been commercialized a little bit, so...
Yeah, I feel like we can get into that a little bit after.
Yeah.
So you want to start with, like, who kind of the first person was?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there were actually quite a few key players here. So I don't know. I think this is the person who's coined for creating Mother's Day was Anna Jarvis in 1908. And it became an official U.S. holiday in 1914, which we can talk about Jarvis's, feelings towards it later. But, so, this was before the Civil War. Anne Reeves Jarvis of West Virginia helped start the Mother's Day work clubs to teach local women how to properly care for their children. Which, let me just say, when I read this, I think is amazing. And I know that there's, like, maybe a couple groups here and there. But I think that's a great thing. And I know, I mean, I'm not a mom, so... I don't see the personal impact, but I've heard a lot about, like, the whole mom shaming thing. Yeah. And so when I read this, I was like, wow, like, how great is it to see that at some point in history there was this unification of, like, literally Mother's Day work clubs. Like, let's teach our local women how to properly care for their children. Not, like, you know, like, in the sense of, like, let's be there for each other.
Yeah.
And now it's crazy how, like, you know, things have changed and evolved. And again, I think it also has to do with like social media and stuff. You post things and it gets, I guess, perceived the wrong way. And then, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of how it started.
Well, I do want to bring up one person before her.
Okay.
So there was Julia Ward Howe, who kind of suggested a Mother's Day that would be used to recognize peace and protest war.
Okay.
And so she organized an annual event in Boston to honor mothers, but she tried to get this day called Mother's Day Proclamation. So technically she started out Mother's Day, but nothing kind of really came from what she was trying to get at. And it wasn't until Anna Jarvis where everything kind of started rolling.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So
that's why she's like,
coined for it?
Yes, there, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Or acknowledged for it, or, yeah.
I was going to say, like, the Mother's Day, but I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, and so the clubs, so, yes, you're correct. Julia Ward Howe does show up on here. But then, again, like you said, it wasn't something like, it's like she campaigned for stuff, but really it was Jarvis who made a bigger impact, especially because, you know, the country was divided because of the Civil War. But in 1868, Jarvis organized Mother's Friendship Day, at which mothers gathered with former Union and Confederate soldiers to promote reconciliation. All right, so this had a greater meaning, I guess. By 1912, many states, towns, and churches had adopted Mother's Day as an annual holiday, and Jarvis had established the Mother's Day International Association to help promote her cause. And so she worked a lot with President Woodrow Wilson. You know, she had a lot of like persistence towards it. But he signed a measure officially establishing the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day, which is what we know now today, which is why it always falls on a Sunday and in May.
Yeah. So, kind of just before that, in 1908, the first, like, people qualify as the first, like, Mother's Day, like, what we know as a modern holiday, was when Anna Jarvis held a memorial for her own mother at St. Andrew's Methodist Church in Grafton, Virginia. And I think they said, like, still to today, they do stuff there. Like, they celebrate there, right?
Oh, yeah, I think I read something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Going back to like the actual roots, like back, yeah.
Speaking about actual roots, for Anna Jarvis, who was who was so, like, she campaigned so hard for Mother's Day, she actually turned around and started kind of fighting against it. Yes,
because of, again, what we said, she felt like it had been commercialized, like all of these flower and by the way, the whole flower thing came from and I think I have this they had like the carnations, right? That was a flower. Wearing the carnation, so that's kind of where it kind of derived
the flowers.
Because the women were wearing a carnation, then they figured, I guess, these flower shops and all of that was something that could mix well in with the holiday.
Yeah, which was so funny because Anna Jarvis was the one who used the carnation. And they used the carnation to signify whether your mother was living. So if you had a red carnation, it meant that she was living. And if it was a white carnation, that means that she had passed away.
Right. Oh, right. Well, speaking of mamas.
Mamas.
Did you know that more phone calls are made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year? Sorry, dads. These holiday chats with mom often cause phone traffic to spike by as much as 37%.
Yeah. So approximately 122 million calls are made on the second Sunday of May, which is Mother's Day.
That's insane. Hey, good for y'all for calling your mom on Mother's Day, but you need to make sure you're calling your mom. Call your not once a year. Call your mother. Now, if she's a complicated, difficult, and you're thinking, Marilyn, you don't understand, you don't know my mom. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't, but it doesn't matter. That is your mother. She birthed you. Okay, if it's not a strained relationship, you should be calling your mom. This goes to my siblings, too. Call mom.
I feel bad. In college, I didn't call my mom that often.
I tried to. I mean, I did. I probably called her, like... Well, so this is what I would do. I would call my mom when I was walking from one class to the other. Like, those, like, longer classes or distance classes. Because then I would, squeeze in the time I was walking, and then it wasn't like... Not that I didn't want to talk to my mom, because obviously whenever I was like, okay, I could use a break, then I would call my parents and all that. It was longer. But because I knew sometimes, like, I was super busy and I needed to study and stuff, it was a good to be like, oh, okay, mom, yeah, you get, like, I just got to my class, I'll call you later. So then I was like, okay, cool. Check, call my mom.
Yeah, I didn't call her that often, but when I call her, I talked to her, like, for 3 hours.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I got my 3 weeks in. In one day.
Packed into 3 hours. Nice.
Let
me see.
Let's see.
Jinx.
I just have like 2 more things.
Go for it.
So technically after Christmas and Hanukkah, more people buy flowers and plants for their moms on Mother's Day than any other holiday. And around approximately 1/4 of all flowers purchased throughout the year are bought on Mother's Day. So, apparently more people buy flowers on Christmas and Hanukkah?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that for Christmas.
That was
odd. Why are we buying flowers for Christmas? I mean, maybe, is it the poinsettias?
And yeah, unless they're counting that.
Because if that's the case, then that makes sense.
Yeah, but I've never seen someone give out flowers on Christmas. And then I won't celebrate.
Unless they're considering... No, trees are not considered... trees are not considered flowers.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's... I don't know. That's odd.
That is very strange. But, I guess. What was your other thing?
And then, some people go to the Greeks for having, like, the original Mother's Day. Because they would have spring celebrations in honor of Rhea? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Mm-hmm. The goddess of fertility, motherhood, and generation.
I did read something about that. I mean, again, we did talk about that episode on Greek mythology. So a lot of them, even things that we know now, were stories used, or you would use Greek mythology stories to explain like certain things that we do and whatnot. Yeah. Cool.
It's Mother's Day.
Go call your mama. I'm still on that.
Call your mom.
So I guess we can transition into our right.
If you wanted to give your mom an award for best mother.
Oh, there you go. You are on a roll. Good job. Yeah. I'm losing my touch.
Like
All right, this next topics, because it's multiple in one. Yeah. I will admit that I did my research. I watched a couple videos. I think, and again, I always got to give disclaimers, all right? We're always trying to help you guys gather this information and give it to you in a fun, loving way. But I admit that even though I did my research, I'm confused, kind of, on some of them. There's so many of them. So apparently January, for most of us, unless it's your birthday, is a regular, it's January, whatever. But if you are in the music and TV and Hollywood and all of that, it's a pretty big month for you. Why? Because a lot of awards are given out in the month of January.
Yes.
We're talking about literally each one. You ask yourself, is she talking about the Grammys? Yes. Is she talking about the Oscars? Yes. Is she talking about the Emmys? Yes. Yes. All of the above.
Yeah. So, I guess the first thing we could do is talk about which one is which.
Yes. Let's do that.
So, you have your Grammy, which is for music.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's that connection. And then Emmy is for kind of TV shows
mm-hmm.
and like television.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your, I forgot the other word, Oscar. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar is for like movies and cinema.
Okay.
And then I added one more, which is the Tony Awards. And that is for, like, theater.
Broadway, right?
Yeah. So, American theater.
Okay, let's talk about the Grammys first, which is music.
Yes. So the Grammy is presented annually by the Recording Academy. So there's that, like, academy that's kind of the overview for the Grammys. And the first Grammy was held on May 4th, 1959.
May 4th, 19... Okay.
Yeah, but they weren't televised until 1971. So it took a while.
Oh, but still, that was 71. That's not bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I know they had TV in the 70s, but it's just so long ago. I'm like, huh.
That's funny. That's true. I mean, it is. Very true.
Yeah.
I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. Please wait. Oh! Okay.
Please hold. I can't do any music that's gonna get us copyrighted, so
that's true.
Play whatever music you have in the background.
Okay, so here's my problem. I made the mistake of I have I have all my facts and stuff, but I don't have the title, so I don't know what facts goes with what. So I'm just okay. Hold on. All right. So with the Grammy, winners are selected from more than 25 fields, which would cover pop, rock, rap, R&B, country, reggae, classical, gospel, and jazz. But they also have, like, for production and post-production work, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see. So they have, like, general awards, which really they end up giving, like, a little bit more than 75 or about 75 awards that are presented the night of. And then the winners will receive a gramophone, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. So the award weighs 6 pounds and is made of gramium, which is a combo of zinc and aluminum, and parts of it are plated with 24-karat gold.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know how you're talking about the award categories and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So you have your big four, and those are, like, the ones everybody wants to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist. So those are, like, the top awards that you can win.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Now, to be eligible for a Grammy, your song or track or music video has to be released in the U.S. between October 1st of the previous year and midnight of September 30th of the year that they're going to be giving out the Grammy. So, you know, there's, like, a whole deadline and stuff, and the way that you have to enter in, like, or nominate, I guess, they do this whole thing with, like, just making sure that you're categorized in the right category, or that you're placed in the right category. And then, of course, the voting members of NARAS, which stands for, I don't know why I said it like that, but is National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, which I don't know if you had already mentioned that.
I don't think so.
So you have to be a member, and then they do, like, ballots and stuff. And then I think a lot of these will, I think, like, even with the Emmys and stuff, they send it out to, like, an accounting firm, not an accounting firm, but, like, some kind of accounting company, like, third party, to be able to do, like
count the ballots and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what's cool about this is that, like, you can send in your videos. Like, they do, like, theatrical performances. And I think there was, like, this kid, not some kid, he's, like, a grown man now. But, like, his high school, they sent in, like, a recording of them, and they are technically Grammy winners.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is weird.
Huh. Okay.
So you're like, he's won a Grammy.
There you go. So that's the Grammy. That's the one that I want to say is the least confusing because it's music. And then we have the Emmys.
Yes.
The Emmy Awards.
The Emmys are for the biggest shows and stars on television.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like the Academy is the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Okay. And the founder was Sid Cassidy. And he was the one that decided to like start the award show, and this was in the late 1940s.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, this one's so just pure TV, right?
Yes.
And then I believe even with Emmys and like I believe it was what was the other one, the Oscars, like writers will vote for writers, and like the like actors and actresses will vote for actors. Like that you have to be within your same category. Mm-hmm. Like you can't like cross over into the other one, because again it's like being focused on the field that you're in or that you're well known for.
Yeah. And this was more of like your peers, like as an actor and stuff, that are like part of the Academy, and not so much of like other people who kind of are, you feel like are judging you.
Exactly. So that's the Emmys. I don't know if you have anything else on that. I mean the Emmy award on this one was it's like the angel or the
yeah. So the Emmy statuette depicts a winged woman holding an atom, which is a symbol of the Television Academy's goal of supporting and uplifting the arts and science of television. Special. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the other one. The award is made of copper, nickel, silver, and gold, and it weighs a total of 6 pounds and 12 ounces. And this actually takes 5.5 hours to make.
Wow.
Which is a very long time.
Sure is. All right. So then we go into the Oscars, which you mentioned, same thing as the Academy Awards, except
yes,
most people started calling Oscars because of the actual statue. That one's the one that looks like a man.
Yes.
And
so, I was going to go kind of how the theories of how the statue got its nickname. Mm-hmm. So there are kind of 3 sources that's like kind of are the beginning of naming the award an Oscar. Mm-hmm. So there's actress Bette Davis who claimed the statue mm-hmm. kind of looked like her husband, whose name was Oscar Nielsen, or Harmon Oscar Nielsen. Mm-hmm. And I guess she called him Oscar. And then another one was and then the other one, like the only other cool one was that another person, an Academy librarian, Margaret Herrick, said that the statue looked like her uncle Oscar. And so it's kind of like, it kind of looks like somebody who's named Oscar, and so that's kind of how. But
and I guess
a lot of Oscars look like that.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of people prefer to say that than the Academy Awards. So
yeah, I mean it rolls off the tongue easier.
And then we also mentioned the Tony Awards.
Yes.
Which, like we said, was Broadway. So that one was also easier to categorize, right? Mm-hmm. And then we moved in. We brought this up, which, again, we wasn't the original idea, but it's the Golden Globes. So the first awards were presented for distinguished achievements in the film industry, granted by Hollywood Foreign Correspondents Association. So again, like this was also film, this is what made it confusing, because the Emmys, where the Oscars are Academy Awards, are also based off of film and movies and stuff. And so the in 1951, the association decided to divide the best film, actor, and actresses nominees into 2 categories, drama and musical or comedy, so that no genre would I guess, be chosen like one over the other. Like it would be equal across the board. When it came to awarding these awards. So yeah, I guess it's a big deal.
Okay, so I just saw that the Golden Globes are more both television and film, and then the Academy Award or the Oscar is just film, like only film.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's 3. So the Emmys is TV, and then you have the Oscars is movie. So that distinguishes it. But then there's the Golden Globes that takes on both.
Yes. Yeah. It makes them together.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the Golden Globe statue is a Golden Globe.
Yeah. But one more thing I want to bring up is those special few people who have received or like have won an EGOT, which is, it's not an official award, but it's the people who have won both an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award. And as of 2020, only 15 people have actually accomplished this.
Whoa, who is it? Anybody I know?
John Lennon, John Legend, not Lennon.
Really?
Yeah, John Legend has won it.
How did he get well, I guess what movie was he in? Sorry, John Legend fans.
Not saying anything bad about John Legend. Just I don't know.
Maybe I know he was in La La Land. I don't know if he got awards for that though.
I don't know. And then another one that I can think of is Rita Ora, or not Rita Orta. Rita. I only remember her last name, and I'm not cool with her like that. Rita Moreno. Yeah. So she's like an actress, and so she was, I think, one of the first ones to win it.
Oh.
Yeah, she got all 4 of them in 1974. Like, that's when she was able to get them all.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so there's Richard Rogers, which is a composer. Helen Hayes, she's an actress. Rita Moreno, yeah, you're right.
Audrey Hepburn.
She's an actress.
Yeah,
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Whoa.
She accomplished hers in 2002.
Okay, well,
yeah.
You go on, girl.
So, that's what an EGOT is. It's a great accomplishment.
Yes.
That I will never win.
Yep. Me neither. Maybe in your second life, because we talked about that last time. If you were, you would be an actress. So there's that.
Maybe there's a slim glimmer of chance.
All right, so let's recap. So the first thing we talked about was national parks. So again, hopefully we didn't offend anybody who has taken a picture perfect at a national park. But if you have, though, like, share that with us. People, you guys aren't sharing your pictures with us, but share that with us, like, or share your experiences. Let us know what is worth going to go watch or going to go see or travel. Then we talked about Mother's Day. I mean, you can send us a brief description as to why you admire or love your mother. Or you can send us a picture of you and your mom on how you celebrated Mother's Day. And then last but not least, we probably did not do it justice, but we hope that you got a little bit of clarity on the different awards that happen and why you feel like there's endless amount of advertisements on another award show that you probably can't distinguish. But now you can, maybe, hopefully. But if you have a different, like, fun fact, or maybe we probably missed something, like, please let us know, and we'll try to clarify that as well so that other people can get that clarification. But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, talk to you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.